What is up, everybody, and welcome to a special Let Me Get That Podagraph live edition. Going to do a live interview today. We've got another episode coming out later this week as well, but wanted to do a live interview and a live special just so we could, talk the hobby a little bit and also have your guys' questions implemented into it. With Letter Rip and everything we've got going on now, we're doing a lot more live content here, so we'll be doing a lot more of these live interviews, but really excited about this first one because it's something that's very new to the hobby and it's growing and big in the hobby right now. But that is Mr. Dan Silvershine from Collectable. He is the head of acquisitions and strategy. Welcome to the show, man.
Thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
Absolutely, dude. So I really wanted to have you on because, I personally love these fractional share ownership, the idea of it. For years, I've shared cards with friends. We purchased big cards together and just done it with the three of us. It never crossed my mind that anything like this would ever happen. But we'll kick it off straightforward. For those that are unfamiliar with exactly what Collectable is, just expand on what the app is and everything, and what the process is like.
Yeah, absolutely. So essentially the idea behind the app is we're really trying to just democratize the collecting community right now. So I'm a big collector. I've been doing it for years, but I'm not a whale by any means. I would never have the opportunity to go buy a 52 Mantle or a 61 Chamberlain. It's just not in the card set right now. It's just not.
No.
I would never have an opportunity to own that. So what we end up doing is we turn high-end collectibles and cards into fully SEC regulated tradable assets. So say we take a $500,000 card, we'll essentially split it up into 50,000 individual shares at $10 a share. We'll offer it to the public. The public will fund the item, and then they're free to essentially buy and sell their shares as they see fit on the secondary market at whatever price they're willing to do it. So.
Yeah, I absolutely love it because it's, it gives, in an era where so many collectors, even as far back as even just a year ago, could participate in the high-end market with ease. They could get into National Treasure breaks. You could get in anything, in any sport, no problem. You could buy Prism Retail. It might be a little higher, but, you can still get into it. But nowadays, with so many people priced out of a lot of that stuff, and I like you, I have nice stuff, but by no means am I going to be owning Pat Mahomes RPAs and a collection of a bunch of Mookie Betts numbered 10 or something, So being able to own a portion of that, is awesome, especially the way the platform is set up. But, what gave you the idea to start Collectable? Where was it what really brought you in? Because it seems like one thing that this really does is give those people that were priced out of this a chance to participate again, to be in this market and to deal with this stuff again.
It really does. I mean, I'm down here in Miami right now. If you can't tell, I'm sitting in a hotel room. There was a show in Miami this weekend, and I'm walking around. It blows my mind. There's an individual box being sold of this year's National Treasures football for $3,500. You could have bought an entire case of National Treasures football last year for $3,500. So it blows my mind what's happened in the last year. I've been doing this for years. Before this, I spent 5 years managing the e-com team at one of the biggest sort of companies in the space. Yeah. And I've always been confident in it, but anyone that tells you they thought the market was going to do this over the last 18 months is lying to your face.
Right. Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. It's been incredible. On that aspect a little bit, we'll touch on the hobby some. With this new influx of new money and everything, we've seen so many new collectors, from just, casual collectors all the way up to hedge funds, massive internet tech companies, professional athletes, like everybody, it seems. Post Malone, there was just video of him getting into cards. I mean, it doesn't matter what it is. Every segment, there's somebody out there with, massive money. What do you see in the hobby going forward and in the future? What are your feelings on this current market and kind of where it's going? Because to me, it really looks like it's turned into a genuine asset class. And it really does seem like this generation and everything kind of views this more as fine art as opposed to just trading cards?
When I try and explain it, and I think many of us in this hobby and that are collectors have probably had this conversation. When I try and explain it to my father, the easiest way I explain it to him, because he doesn't understand it, is this is why when you were in your 20s and 30s, vinyl was going crazy. That was just, that was your generation's nostalgia. It went crazy. That was that. I truly believe trading cards are our generation's nostalgia. It's almost funny that we all kind of came up, or the majority of us, I'm thinking, came up during the junk era, where nothing was worth anything because it was being printed out the wazoo. But that's also probably what got us all into it, because we all had access to it. So it's a weird full circle. And in terms of what I see for the future, while I can't make any projections just as an investment thing, I do believe that you see guys like Nat Turner and Steve Cohen and Mark Cuban all coming in. None of these guys got rich buying in at the top of anything. So it's a good indicator, if nothing else, that they certainly are confident that it's still going up. So I'll trust them for the time being.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think there's a lot of advantages to the people that, like you said, Nat Turner and that group buying PSA, I think was wonderful for the company. I think it's going to do a lot for it. And so, all right, so back to Collectable for just a moment, for a little bit actually, but one question a lot of people have when they sell is, or when they buy it, or when they're looking into these fractional share companies is, when can I sell? Am I buying this and then I'm holding it for 6 months? How long? Explain kind of the process of once a card, obviously, like a card's put on there with an IPO and it's funded. Once the card's funded, explain kind of the trading window and how all of that works.
Sure. So right now, everything once it's funded is locked up more or less for 90 days, where the secondary market it's not trading on. So somebody can still come and make a buyout offer during those 90 days to purchase the asset in its entirety, at which point the shareholders would be surveyed so that we can get a sentiment from them. But you can't sell and buy your individual shares on the market. That's for 90 days. That's soon being shortened to 45 days. So that's a big benefit. After that period, every one of our assets trades every single day, Monday through Friday. We don't have any lag time between assets. There's no, you can trade it today and then you can't trade it for 4 weeks. Every single day you can trade it. And as of right now, every single day from 3 to 4 Eastern is we call it power hour, where essentially you're live matching trades. So if there's an ask out for $16 for a share and you put a bid in, instantly it's going to process and post, as opposed to normally you can put one in at, say, 5:30 p.m. You can put in a request. You'll say, I'll pay $18 for a share. And then the next day it'll post and match. But that power hour is something people really seem to enjoy because it's instant, it's live. They don't like waiting for a post. Someone can come in and undercut their price or jump over them. The live window has really appealed to a lot of people. So we all are also planning to expand that to all day in the near future.
Nice. Yeah, I love the 24/7 aspect of it, because a lot of other companies that have got into this, have a one trading window, and that's 3 months before the card's available again. And I know that turns a lot of people off because, it's a market where, let's face it, I know you guys now have an awesome Mookie Betts lot that's, I think, almost completely funded, and it's some of his nicest cards around. And that's somebody who...
That one finished up.
Okay, it did. So, okay, see, I looked at it before. I looked at it an hour ago and it wasn't done, or 2 hours ago and it wasn't done. So it's done now. That's awesome. And that speaks to... I said, no, I was just saying that speaks to the popularity and, of stuff like this. I looked at it an hour ago and it still had a decent amount left and, funded. I love seeing stuff like that. But, those are cards that Mookie, being so undervalued, he goes on a tear. That card has instant movability. And if you're stuck on these waiting, months before you can trade, that window may be gone. And you may, I like the day trading aspect that goes into Collectable if you kind of want to compare it to the stock market.
Right. And we all know the modern stuff fluctuates at just a faster rate than the rest because it's responding to performance. And I think part of the cool part of the platform is we do have a complete spectrum. We have a Ty Cobb Redback, and we have the Rafael Devers Bowman Superfractor. So whatever you want, you can come find it. And You want to be in volatile stuff. You want to be in Hall of Famers. The daily trading is really there to kind of satisfy everybody. And we just want to make it as easy to use and for you to have as many options as you possibly can. So the more options we can give the investor, the better.
Sure. And, being head of acquisitions and strategy, I'm assuming, obviously you're heavily involved in what comes into the office and what ultimately gets put on the site. So in that regard, how does that process work? If someone, if someone wants to, let's say, sell a card or something like that, and they have something that they think you guys would like, is it something where they can reach out to the team, or do you guys actively just search out stuff, or is it kind of a combination of both? How does that work?
It's definitely a combination. So like I said, I'm down here for the show in Miami. I was here looking to consign stuff. We ended up bringing in almost $750,000 of consignments from this show. There's a couple really good things we'll be announcing soon that people will be excited about. Some great LeBron stuff, some Mahomes. So we definitely go out and actively seek cards. But at the same time, we have a wonderful network. And that's a result of the way we built our team. We've really built it full of collectors from inside the hobby. Our cap table, our team. So we have a network of people we know, we've been in the same circles, we've bought and sold. So people know to bring to us from our own network. And to be completely honest, now that we're kind of gaining popularity, we've completed 90 IPOs. We have almost $50 million under consignment. People are starting to know who we are, and we do get just reached out to left and right. So, by the way, my email is dan@collectable.com. Anybody can reach out to me at absolutely any time to talk about something they're interested in putting on the platform, and we're happy to hear from everybody.
Yeah, no, I love that, because there is so much cool stuff. You never know where you're going to find it. So, obviously broaden that reach as much as you can. Once again, we are talking with Dan Silversheen from Collectable, the new fractional share, well, not necessarily new anymore, but fractional share ownership app that is one of the very best. That's probably, in my opinion, the best one that's come out yet. And really why I wanted to have you on the show, because I love the 24/7 trading of the platform. I love all the benefits that some of the others, I think, are the heavy drawbacks to them. And so, when it comes to, let's say, on the flip side of that, if someone wants to buy out a card, if a card is exited, so to speak, which you guys have had some incredible exits here lately, the Bird triple was over 100% since the original fund. I mean, it was absolutely incredible. When a card comes to exiting, how does that process work?
So we don't ever solicit a buyout offer. That's not something we're doing. If somebody wants to make a purchase of an asset that's on the platform, we don't obviously accept buyout offers for anything that hasn't IPO'd yet. That's not the business we're in, is buying and flipping. That's just not who we are. So after something is funded, doesn't have to necessarily be trading, but any assets that have been funded or that are currently trading, essentially anybody who feels like it can make a buyout offer. And it's honestly, the process is very similar to a consignment. I'll get an email in my inbox at 3 p.m. from somebody saying, hey, I'm interested in this card. It's currently trading on your platform at 150,000. I'm willing to pay 185. Right. We essentially vet the buyer. Again, our network sort of allows us to kind of figure out who can be vouched for, who we can vet. We put some in escrow sometimes. And essentially from there forward, we then survey the users. Those survey results are weighted pro rata based on how many shares are owned. And then that's passed up to our advisory committee, who ends up making the final determination, obviously with the shareholder sentiment number one in mind, but they are there to prevent any wishy-washy things that may be happening in terms of offers and sort of protect the investor in the end.
Right. Absolutely. No, once again, an easy process, at least as easy as something like this can be, with involvement of everything that you guys do have to go through. I know it's a very strict policy that you guys are following and a strict set of rules. But
don't mess around.
No, they don't. So, where do you see Collectable, let's say, in the next couple of years? I mean, this hobby is, I say it all the time, we're in a boom and people think, it's temporary. It's not, I mean, it's not going to last forever, but I mean, it is not going to be back where it was 10 years ago. There's just too much different stuff in the hobby going on now, and the companies are getting involved in so many different things. You're seeing Panini with their blockchain and NFTs. You're seeing Topps with their NFTs. You're seeing things like Top Shot, a lot of digital stuff going on, to the point where a lot of people getting involved in stuff where they don't actually have to hold the tangible cards. Let's face it, we can hold our PC. We can hold all the other cards. We can hold so many, but if you can still have that share in that card, know you have it, and be able to, move it if you're in this industry to do things like that, these platforms are perfect. But, where do you see Collectable going here in the future?
So one of the benefits of the way we're built is we're not like a straight buy and flip fund almost.
Right.
So even if hypothetically, which I don't necessarily believe is coming, there is some sort of market pullback, in my opinion, it's no different than when the stock market takes a dip. You're still buying and selling and trading. Like there's still money to be made if you buy at the right price, sell at the right price. So sort of the benefit of our platform is it's designed where there's always a way for somebody to make money if they're smart with the way they're doing it. Even if prices are going down, you're still able to buy at one price and sell it. It really does have protection almost from the rest of the market.
Especially when you consider the cards that are on there. I mean, let's face it, and the items that are there. If this was like, retail blasters of something, this is a completely different conversation we're talking about. Well, when you're talking about some of the most iconic cards and the iconic players and iconic memorabilia of all time, that like there's no that stuff that is almost, I mean, it's proven in the past to be, above that drop in that bubble.
Yeah, I was telling a story this weekend a couple times when people were asking me, like, what do you think's going on with this little pullback? And I said, in my opinion, if there's going to be a pullback somewhere, it's going to be on things that are super high population. Anything that's crazy easy to find, there might be some pullback. But these super rare cards that just don't come to market and memorabilia items that just are never in market, I don't necessarily see that those are going to be affected the same way, or at least at the same rate, I don't think. Perfect example is we have coming up this week, we have a Wilt Chamberlain full uniform from his rookie year. Yeah. That just doesn't exist. No. First of all, you don't find full uniforms. It's the jersey and the shorts. That doesn't happen. You don't get Wilt rookie year stuff. And it's just like something like that. You're not going to see it again. And as a result, I'm confident in it is what I would say.
No, absolutely. Phil asks here from YouTube, Dan, is there a lot of shine left in the trading day? I'd have to say yes. Yep. Sun is up. There you go.
You can post the bid or an ask at 2 a.m. for all we care. It's just not going to be lost. So you want to trade at 4 a.m., go for it. There's always shine left in the trading day for us.
Yeah. No, and that's the best. That's, like I said, the best thing that I like about the platform is the fractional shares where there's constant movement. Obviously, like you said, you have to hold off when it initially gets funded, but once it's up there, it's on that platform. I love it. I think it's awesome. So stepping back to acquisitions a little lighthearted question here, but what's one of the coolest things that's come across your desk lately? What's one of the things that since you've been at the company has just been like, wow, okay.
Coming up shortly after the Wilt card is probably the thing that's made my jaw drop the most, which is we have a Babe Ruth Sporting News PSA 7. We have it scheduled right now to IPO at 3.7 million. There's one at Heritage that ends in a couple days that they estimated to be north of 4 million. It's at 2.3 right now. I mean, that card, when the picture came in, it absolutely floored me. I had never seen it before. It's a gorgeous card. It's an exciting card. It's definitely something we're looking forward to having and being able to offer. But again, this is the perfect example. It's a $3.7 million Babe Ruth rookie card. I'm never going to touch that card ever. And now I'm going to get to have a little slice of it. It's great.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. My portfolio is filled with cards that I could only dream of owning, and in a million years. So I mean, it's a wonderful way. And like I said, one of the common complaints I see in the hobby, and I know we kind of touched on this earlier, but a common complaint that a lot of people are saying is they're being priced out. And it's what I've said on the show multiple times. You may be priced out of what you used to do. Like if you used to buy into National Treasure breaks, you might not be able to do that anymore. But there's so many other avenues that didn't exist before that do exist now, like these fractional share ownerships. And so I think it's a wonderful platform for people that are looking for possible different avenues to stay in the hobby, because it really is. I was someone that was skeptical at first of it because even though, like I said, I split cards with friends and, they'd hold them sometimes and I still wouldn't see them for 6 months. It was still down the street. But when it came time to this, I was like, I'm going to try it out. And as soon as I tried it out, I was like, I love this. This is phenomenal. It's a blast. And I mean, let's face it, so many of these cards nowadays that a lot of people buy go straight to the PWCC vault if they're at this price. They go straight to a safety deposit box. They go straight somewhere else. So you're not holding it every day. And like I said, you can buy any PC card you want and hold that any day of the week. So, I really think it really brings that average collector back in and gives those people, or maybe someone that's just looking for a different avenue, a new outlet to explore in the hobby.
Yeah, and I mean, really on the upper and lower end of the spectrum, it has been great. It's bringing in the people who can't spend tens and hundreds of thousands of dollars and giving them access. And then it's also, these cards aren't the easiest thing to sell. If you own this card, there's only so many people that can buy that card from you. Right. So this makes it easier for high-end people to sell. It's easier for the average collector to get in. It's really something that we've designed sort of for the collector in mind. And that's why we keep sort of sourcing our ideas and our feedback from the community and from the collectors, because that's what this is supposed to be. It's supposed to be built for the collector.
Yeah, no, and I definitely think it does. And Zach Melanchek asks, is there a minimum age requirement to invest?
So we are fully SEC regulated, so it is only open to 18 and up for now. Yeah. You do need to be 18 to open an account. Essentially, if you're opening an account on Robinhood, it's more or less the same as opening an account with us. You're going to have to give your social. You're going to have to be verified, all those things. It's not information that's being used or sketchy. We're an SEC regulated financial services company, so we have to follow all the same rules as everybody else.
Yep. And Brian asked the question, you do all memorabilia. So you guys will take a look at anything sports related that comes across your desk, right? It doesn't have to be a jersey or anything. It could be anything.
We've had anything from, we have a baseball signed by 11 of the original 12 Hall of Famers. We have this Wilt Chamberlain full rookie year uniform. We have the bat Frank Robinson used to hit his 500th home run. And we have Andre the Giant's jockstrap. So yes, awesome. We have pretty much anything you can think of has been offered through the platform and will continue to be, because let's be honest, there's so many different kinds of collectors in this hobby. And frankly, now I almost should call them investors as opposed to collectors. There are so many different types that only do wrestling, only do soccer, only do this, only do that, that we really do want to make sure that we offer everybody an opportunity to get something for their PC or specialty that they wouldn't have otherwise been able to get.
Yeah, and I did not know Andre the Giant's jock straps on there. I've got to go find that and get a piece of that. So that's funny. That's awesome. I love it. And it's great.
Really fun thing.
Yeah, no, and like you said, there's so many different ways to collect in this hobby besides just individual sports. I mean, people collect different things. So I love having it all on that one platform. And like you said, and like we've said, it's a digital age these days. A lot of stuff, not being able to own a part of something that otherwise you'd never be able to own is, there's no downside in that. I mean, if you're in it to collect.
Yeah, and the barrier has frankly been broken at this point. The biggest obstacle was the non-tangible aspect, which, let's be honest, it's not as big of an obstacle as it used to be. There's the Panini blockchain cards, like you said, there's Topps NFTs, there's the vault, there's COMC, there's 8,000 different ways that people don't physically have their cards. And let's be totally honest, you have a $200,000 card, you're probably not just leaving it in your drawer anyway. So
no.
Right. So if you want to go see it, you probably got to go to your bank vault anyway, or wherever you keep. So it's an obstacle that thankfully is not there anymore. And I think you're really going to see more companies, alternative ways to get involved in the hobby continue to pop up. And frankly, it's nothing but good news for everybody. The more that this hobby continues to go up, the more people are going to get ideas, and the more sort of people from outside the hobby are going to come in with different perspectives. And I think we're in a really interesting, almost like Renaissance time of the hobby. And we're going to see some really cool things come out of this period.
I completely agree with you, and I think things like this and things like Loop and some of these other apps that are providing new services for breakers, and they're providing platforms for them, and then people like you that are providing platforms for people to own partial shares in cards they could never own. I think that's something that keeps the big hobby moving. I mean, Topps is getting a big bump with the NFTs and stuff, but not really in the card area. This is keeping cards and memorabilia and things like that heavily into play. And that's where I think, these type of apps and these type of companies that are coming out in this, like you said, and it's a great term, a renaissance time in this hobby, because I really think that's what we're headed towards. I think these are the type of companies that honestly are the future of this hobby, or at least it's going to carve out its own certain area of the hobby that I think is here to stay.
Yeah, and I think the real beautiful part of it is, for the most part, all of these new things that are coming up are very symbiotic. We kind of all build off each other, and you look at something like Card Ladder or Alt or Cardbase and these inventory tracking and price tracking, that only helps everybody else to do everything. So it's like the more that we all kind of help each other to build right now, the better it's going to be for the hobby as a whole. And that's really what we're striving for.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I could not agree more. And so, well, man, I before we wrap everything up, just wanted to, once again, in case anybody did miss it, if they're interested in reaching out, whether it is to, speak with you about a card or anything like that, just let them know how they can reach you and, socials, everything like that.
So you can get me on Instagrams at Collectable Dan. I'm on Twitter, same thing. Dan at collectable.com is my email. This is my name on Facebook. Feel free to add me. I mean, that's honestly the place I was always the most active in this hobby for the last 5 years, and where I've sort of made most of the relationships. It's where you and I became friends. It's Facebook. So feel free to add me there. I'm always there. I'm in a lot of the collector rooms. I'm pretty easy to get in touch with, and I'm always happy to chat about anything with people. So please reach out.
Absolutely. Well, Dan, I greatly appreciate you joining the show, man. It's been a blast. Hold on. Let's see. Brian Cuffman. Let's see. But no, it's been a blast, man. Thank you so much for joining the show, and good luck with everything. I really love what you guys are doing. I think it's, like I said, I think it's going to be a big part of the future of the hobby, and I really appreciate you joining the show today, man.
Yeah, thanks for having me. I'm happy to come back anytime and chat, and I'll keep watching.
Awesome. Well, thanks for joining the show, bud. I'll talk to you later. See you, man. All right, y'all. Well, once again, that was Dan Silverstein from Collectable. I'd really like to thank him for joining the show. I wanted to do a live interview so you guys could kind of ask some questions if you had any. And as I said, we're doing a lot more of this live content right now. So just wanted to, have him on the show. As Collectable, guys, honestly, go check the app out. It is a lot of fun. If you have any type of interest in any of the high end stuff and any interest in stocks in that type of feel, it's very, very fun, interactive, and they make it great with the 24/7 access to everything once it's listed. So definitely go check them out. You can find the app on any of the app stores, and also go to collectable.com. But thanks everybody for tuning in. Before I wrap everything up, I do want to thank our sponsors, of course, Walk Off Card Submissions, Above the Rim Sports Cards and Breaks, Wax Pack Nation, Vintage Breaks, and of course Spreaker and iHeartMedia for sponsoring the show. Thank you guys so much. We could not do it without you. But thanks everybody who tuned in live to a very special live edition of Let Me Get That Podagraph, and we'll be back here later this week with a brand new episode as well. So talk to you guys soon. Peace.